Now we do. So we are now live, yes, audio-wise.
Yay! Live with audio.
So today we have Whims with us, who is going to... Apparently she's going to show us how to decorate a room.
Yes, I am.
Officer Nicely.
Yes, Officer Nicely. You have to behave yourself in the chat, otherwise you'll get a clip round the ear off from Officer Nicely.
Oh, I like this room. Like, it already looks nice.
Well, I wanted to do something kind of, cozy inside, cold outside. So here we are. I wanted it to be a little Christmassy, but, I guess it doesn't have to be Christmassy. It says winter to me, I guess, but cozy inside with the fireplace and everything. So what I wanted to do was...
Oh, wait, hold on.
Okay.
So for people, we don't have that many people watching right now, but for people who may be watching the recording in the future, we have Whims here today, and if you should know who she is if you've ever shopped the furniture the Whims catalog, because she's always at the front of it, and she's a really good texture artist, and she is going to show us how to decorate a room.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Shall I begin?
Yes.
Okay. So here I am in what I was hoping to be a cozy little winter room, looking with the fireplace, warm inside, cold outside. And so that's why I did the brown and red and green for the Christmas feeling. And the first thing I want to do is we wanted to have the Christmas tree showcased in the center. So that's what I'm going to do, is start out by going to my Christmas tree, which is right here. And in pops the tree. So I use my move tool. He's nowhere near I need him to be. And I move him to the center. And his presence, I don't know where I want his presence to face, because I don't know if I want people on the couch to see it or people when you enter. So I've decided people when they enter the room to see the presence. So there he goes.
So can you explain to people how you can only do this in the core client?
As opposed to
if you're on Next or on mobile?
Oh, okay, yes. So the core client is where you can do your rooms and your furniture. I don't use Next enough in the, except for the photo booth. I know you can hop around and take your picture, but there's no furniture or room decorating in Next. Is that kind of what you meant?
Yeah. So I just feel like a lot of users only use mobile or Next, like new users, and they don't understand. They're always like, how do I make a room? How do I do all these things?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, so
you have to go somewhere else.
Yes, you can enjoy these rooms and the great furniture and Next, but you can't decorate yourself. You can't put together the room yourself. You have to do that in the client. So yay, client. Go to the client. And that's where you can get these rooms and decorate them like I'm going to do. So here's my tree, and he needs a tree skirt. So I'm using a rug as a tree skirt.
Your tree is male?
He is male starting right now. Okay. That was an instant decision. All right, and this rug is huge, and we don't want it this big. So we move him under the tree, but the rug is also way, I guess, too big. So I can use my resize tools and highlight the rug and make it smaller. And put him so it kind of looks like a tree skirt, like that. Make it centered. All right, so that's the tree, which will kind of be the focal point in the center of the room. And we need a few more places to sit. The room does come with some seating spots, so you can be cozy and chill without any other furniture.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, except that's what we always do here anyway. So
no, that's fine.
Can you show us how do we get these items in the first place?
Okay, so if you are going to get on the client, get off Next and go on the client, you're going to go shopping. So you do that under the shop tab, which is right there. And here you are in the shopping tab. It defaults to whatever your avatar is. So if you're a girl, you're in the girl shop. If you're a boy, you're in the boy shop. And we are going to do rooms and furniture. So if you're starting from scratch, you have nothing to build with, you go to rooms, and there are all the rooms. And there's more than you can even imagine to choose
look,
from.
the number 2 room is by Whims, I see.
Yep.
She's
So
always on the front page.
So if you want to try on a room to see or try a room out, see if you like it or if you don't like it, you click the try button, and the room will load. And there it is, and you can move around and interact and see if this is something you want or don't want.
Oh, Prim had a point that you should probably click GA before you show everybody.
Oh, good. Where do I do that? There we go. Oops. There we go. Thank you. So here you are, and you tried out the room, and you decide, no, that's not the one I want. So you can just try another one, just like that, and the next room will load. And you think, well, this is fantastic. This is the one I want. So to buy it, you would just click this little yellow button, and you buy the room, like that. And once you have your room and you want some furniture, you could go to the furniture tab, and you will see all the furniture that there is to purchase. And the same thing, you can try furniture, and it'll pop up in your room. And there's another Christmas tree. So, sound good?
Yes.
Okay, so I go back.
Yeah.
Back to there. So we bought our items, and they'll appear down at the bottom in order of recently added, and that's where you can find. So let's pretend we just bought this couch and we want to put it in our room. So we buy the couch, pops up in the room, and then we move it again to where we want to have it, and we decide we want it over here so people can sit down over here. Oops, sorry if I'm going a little fast. And I've got some other stuff to put in. Did you want me to keep adding it in, or do you want me to move to how to sell it as a bundle, or how to decorate it?
We want the works.
The full thing. Okay, well, I got more stuff, so we'll put it on in. So then I also made a chair, and pop the chair in. And sometimes it's a little tricky getting it, like I want it in the corner, so it's going to keep going through the wall. So you just keep using your move tools until you get it where you like it. And I have something for the mantle.
I must say that this looks rather like Sherlock Holmes.
Oh,
would be at home in here.
Well, that I don't have a problem with that. That sounds great.
If you get a chance, can you show us how to use the undo tool? Because I went years with not understanding how you do that.
I will do my best, but I will be honest and say that the undo tool confuses me a little bit too. So let's pretend we're going to do it on this thing, and let's remember together how it works. Okay, so this is the undo. So we're going to undo this, and it puts it to your last. Oh, reset is the one that confuses me. I'm sorry. Undo will just move it to its last position.
Right. Wait, which one is reset?
Reset's the one that confuses me. Reset is this one, I believe, and I think it's supposed to move it where it popped in the room. Let's find out. Yes. So undo. So if we move this guy,
I don't think I've ever used that one.
Yeah, that's the one that confused me because.
So it doesn't reset if you've resized and smushed the item.
Oh, good idea. it'll get it back to where it started. So let's say I made, oh no, it's too big. So then we can reset it. Right there. And it'll go back to its original size and its place where it popped
But you
in.
have
Thank
to, you click the tool, you click that tool, and then you have to click the actual item.
Correct.
That's what I think is kind of confusing to me.
Instead of just like backspace or undo on another, this is you have to click the item itself.
Yeah.
And undo will
Yeah,
just
well, that makes sense, because if it was if it were a global undo, if it were undo, it would undo everything that you've just done.
right. So
Well,
it's whatever
I just
your
figured
last.
you would undo the last thing of all of the things.
Well, nope. It's the item that you click. So I suppose if I wanted to undo, oh, this guy's not in a good place anyway. So we'll reset him. Oh, see, now that's why I'm confused, because he didn't move where he landed. He just moved. So it's all coming back to me why I'm confused. I don't know.
So he's on the node that you moved him to after he came into the room.
Yep.
But he's just not rotate. He unrotated.
He unrotated. Yep. But when I undo the candle, I thought it moved back. I don't know.
I feel like the controls are actually really good. You just really have to learn how to use them though.
Correct. And they are really good. Really good. I just don't, I'll be honest, I just don't use undo and reset very much. I just do it the hard way, like manually again and over and over. Oops. Okay, what else do I have? I have a big teddy bear. So the big teddy bear I want in the corner, but I thought he was too big. So we're going to resize him. He's cute, but a little big.
So how are you dragging him to the side?
Up here is the arrow. That's how you move. And so if you hit control, he'll go side to side. If you hit shift, you can move him up and down. And I think there's one more, but I don't remember. Oh, no, there isn't one more. There's a rotate, so you can twirl him around like that. Or again, with shift, you can shift him around too. So the circle tool, the little arrow thing, will move him up and down or side to side. I'm sorry, in a spin. And then the directional arrows will move him up or down or left or right. And then the resize tool makes him a size that is pleasing to my eye. And I have some tables that I will put in here, and then I've got some candles that I'll put on top. You can drag with the arrow, as I've been doing, or you can try and hop them from just without pressing shift or control. You can just move your mouse and it can hop from node to node, which may make moving easier.
And they pretty much pop into the node closest to where your avatar is.
Where the avatar is, exactly. So if I were smarter, I would move over to the couch, knowing that when I added the next table, it would be closer to me. So very good point. I'd like to make things harder for myself.
Oh no, if you want to see harder, you see me create a room. That would be harder.
Okay, so I put two little end tables at the side of each end of the couch. And lastly, we have some candles that I will put on top of each table. Oops. Oops. Now, if you put in the wrong thing, like I just did, you can just delete it. That's a mistake.
Do you usually lock yours as you go along? Or?
You know what? I don't lock, and I know I should lock. It would make my life a lot easier, but I don't.
I bought a lot of decorated rooms, and I feel like they're like maybe 50% of them are locked.
Oh, so that was a question I had and didn't know the answer to, is if I create the room decorated with locked items, will it be locked for the purchaser? And now you're answering me that it is.
Yeah, like they can unlock it, but it's locked, which is nice if they start adding more stuff on their own.
So they won't have to worry about moving or doing what I do, which is delete things by mistake.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh no, my nice room that I bought decorated because it's so much easier is now
undecorated. Well, that's really great information. So taking that information, I'm going to go lock it now.
Unless they've used furniture items with furniture nodes.
What?
Do you know some people use furniture items with furniture nodes to add more nodes to the room? So, but the problems with those things would mean that even if you lock the items, you might still lose the positioning of the furniture because the conflict that those additional nodes cause.
Is it invisible furniture? I think I need some of those.
Well, they are. Well, they can be. They're just furniture items. Like if you wanted to add an extra room to this, a smoking room where Sherlock and Watson would smoke and play violin, that room mesh would have furniture nodes that you can add to the main scene, but doing that often causes conflict. So you could create a room and furniture it up, but even with the furniture items locked, you may find that if somebody purchases a room like that, the furniture's all over the place because of the problems that are presented by the additional nodes added through the furniture item. Because the default room can't tell which is the it's to do with the room node numbering, the furniture node numbering. It can't tell which is supposed to be 0, 1 through and all the way up through because it sees the extra nodes. It doesn't know what to do with them.
I think you really add a smoking and violin room at your own risk.
Yes, you do.
That's the advanced one.
Yeah. Yes, you do, but it's worth pointing out because those things are available and people do buy them and add them to the rooms and wonder why the furniture goes all over the place. That's why, because of the conflict that causes. Sorry, a little tangent, but worth pointing out.
Okay. So now we have our room decorated. And so did you want me to go through how to sell it as a decorated room bundle?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now you don't have to be a creator to do this, right?
Correct. I was just going to say that. You can do this with anything as long as you own it. So you can go out and buy a room and buy chairs, and you can buy them from multiple creators and put it together to your liking, your decor, and sell it. And so I'm going to show you how now. I mean, I did create this room, but I didn't have to. I could have bought every single piece from the catalog.
So you do have to own the pieces.
You do have to own them, correct. So you purchase them or you create them and you put them in the room how you want them. And you're going to need, the first thing you're going to need is an image of your room. So I will take that now. So you take your photo and I put it on the room and you try to make a nice picture. There we go, teddy bear. And you snap it and save it. And then you can go to your chat rooms, or all the chat rooms that you own. And
So
I don't.
you probably do have to have VIP then, because you need to be able to make a public room.
Okay, I don't know if I have VIP, so I don't know if
Yeah.
I did. Okay, so if you don't have VIP, you can't do this, I guess. And you've taken your snapshot and you've got your room, and so you have to have an available space. I almost never do. So you create a room, and you type your room name, and let's call it gift boxes room. That might Christmas room. And you select how many users you want to be able to go in at a time. I like everybody to go in. And this, you picked your picture from the gallery, and it didn't show up. So let's find the last time I took this room. And then
Someone is saying that you can have one public room if you don't have VIP.
Okay. So there you go. Everyone can do
A bunch
this.
of VIP people, we have no idea.
Everyone can do this. So you get your picture of your room down there, and you scroll down to the name of the room itself, not your decorated room, but the name of the actual room that you made. And I don't remember which one it is. Might be this. Yes. And you choose your language, or don't. Type a little room description. This room is awesome. And then you just hit create room.
And ignore that.
And then if you decide you want to sell this room, because you can, you own it all, as a decorated room bundle, you then select edit. And down here it'll say click here to publish this room. So here we go. Well, I wonder why it says that.
Yeah, that seems very strange.
I don't know why it says that.
Wait, is it just maybe?
Oh, I know why. I know why.
Why?
I think because that room is currently empty because it's in the shared room.
Oh.
So it doesn't want to let me submit it.
Because the text is quite small, that's an error at the top of the submission page that basically says decorated rooms must contain at least one piece of furniture.
So what's happening is I own this room and I've emptied it out, and so because I decorated it in the shared room version, I can't sell it because it's empty. Because it's trying to sell the room that is
you know, there's a tab on there where you actually choose from your shared rooms, which will probably be a lot easier to find that way.
There's a.
Yeah, if you go back to, I mean, you're gonna have to start over since you already picked a room.
So start over creating a room?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just delete that one, yeah. And actually, you probably have to close that
So
tab.
you can't do this from, you know, the My Room. If you click the My Room button and set up a room, this is completely a different process to.
You can decorate it in your My Room, but you will have to turn your My Room into a public room.
Right. Okay.
Wait, did it not delete?
It didn't.
Did it have a delay or something?
Okay, now it deleted. So you're saying there's a tab?
Yeah, see, it's kind of grayed out.
Oh, right there. Yep, I see it. I don't know which one it is. Maybe it's.
Well, it should show you a picture still at the top, right?
I used the same picture for two of them. So let's find out if this is it. Yes, that was the right one.
Awesome.
Okay, so we're calling it our Christmas gifts room. And you put your description. This is a great room. And you can add your HTML or whatever you want to do for your product page. And I already have an icon made for this room. So I will go there and grab it. Unless you want me to show how to make a icon. But that would be in Photoshop, so.
It could be nice if you just, so people get an idea of where that picture comes from.
Okay. So, where's my phone? Okay. So if I were going to make an icon, I'm going to have to go back to the room. And how I do it might not be how other people do it, but I usually just print screen to grab a snap. I don't use the high-res snap for icons.
How come?
I use them for clothing, but I don't use them for furniture. I don't know. I think it's because I can just copy paste easier, maybe.
Well, I have noticed that, you know, it makes a square image and it cuts off the side, so you don't always know what you're going to get, right?
Yes, and I resize it with my crop tool, so it just, I don't know, it just seems easier for me to print screen when it comes to furniture. Clothing, I absolutely do the high-res snap. So I'm using Photoshop to grab an appropriate sized image. And I resize it to the size I want. And I copy it. And I put it, I have a pre-made icon that I'm just pasting it in there. And I will save it as the, oh, I don't know where it is. Good luck finding it.
That's a lot of folders.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's even worse than Shannon Mac, that.
Well, I usually, you know, consolidate them sooner, but I kept saying, I'll consolidate them at the end of the year.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
The annual
yeah.
end of the year.
Okay. So that's how I made my little icon. And then I can go back here and grab it from in here, which is where I think I put it. Yep. And I'm going to go ahead and, oh, keyword tags. So you want to make sure you, oh, this is going to tell us what I usually use. Decorated room.
Trade secret.
Bundle. Yep. Chat. Christmas. Anyway, so I make some keywords and you want to make sure it's visible, and there we go. And now you are going to be able to sell decorated room. All the profits would go to whoever owns the furniture, but I should have said you can add a little bit of profit to yourself for doing the work of decorating.
Oh, look, there's our ad for this Twitch session right there.
Yep.
Wow. Oh yes.
So meta.
And there you have it. And I don't know what else to say about that. I'm not going to publish it because I already have one up and published. So
do you not really,
identical.
Do you think about the keywords a lot, or you're just like, eh?
No, I do think about. Well, I have some standards I always use. You know, for decorated rooms, I always use decorated and furnished and room, and then the rest of my words describe it. So Christmas.
Do they
red.
really matter that much these days because of the way that people spam the catalogue with keywords and titles and stuff that has nothing to do with the products they're submitting?
I don't know. I wish they would stop that, because when I'm looking for things, I wish I could find
I
what I'm
know,
looking
but
for.
yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like I
But
do
I
exactly.
do think.
Go on, sorry.
I think that if you know, if you're using those keywords and you get some sales on your product, so let's say you're Whims and people know her, and I'm sure they go and specifically look for her stuff, and so people will buy some of her stuff, and the combination of buying her stuff plus the keywords will put her farther forward in the catalog. So it's not like only the keywords, but I think they just help, you know.
Well, I suppose if it can't hurt.
Yeah,
You know?
it can't hurt. It could. I don't know. Like maybe if you have too many, or I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Well, now I have to wonder about that.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder, why is that one always the first thing that comes up for this particular search? Very curious.
It is curious because sometimes I would think, well, maybe it's the more simple one, but sometimes it's not the more, sometimes if I'm searching red sweater, something that's not called red sweater will come up before something just simply called red sweater.
That's
so I don't.
definitely a question for one of the engineers.
Yeah, if there's more than one word, it seems to really mess everything up.
Yep.
So how do we go and buy a decorated bundle specifically?
Okay. This is I'm so glad you asked, because this is really
we have a
important.
question. Hang on. How does one go about making a room with little knowledge about interior design? That's from Remixy.
Well, I have the only experience I have in interior design is my own house. So I what looks good to me is what I hope looks good to someone else. So I also think about what kind of feeling am I trying to give off. So if I'm like, for this room, I was wanting to make it look cold outside and warm inside. So I wanted warm colors inside, cold outside. But I don't have any experience in interior design. I've never designed anything but my own living room. So I don't know if there's any particulars.
So you could break down that question then in terms of the answer into themes. What theme are you looking for?
Every room I create, I have a theme in mind.
Yeah.
Something, a feeling, or something I'm trying to give off.
Yeah.
And
I think it can be helpful. You can look up things on Pinterest and get a lot of ideas there, or you can try like home decorating magazines. A lot of times they're like Architectural Digest or something where they really show you people's living rooms and things, and you can always just use that as your inspiration.
That's absolutely perfect. They have a lot of great. Pinterest is a fabulous resource for giving you a spark of inspiration to go off. Or if you're just starting out and you don't have confidence in your ability to do that, you can mimic what you see, and you'll quickly learn, I think, what goes and what doesn't go.
Yeah. And what people on IMVU like to buy and what they don't.
I must be doing it all wrong.
Well, I don't know what people like to buy and what they don't is a mystery. Always, still. I don't know. Sometimes what I think is going to be a hit is a complete miss. So I don't.
It's funny. It's funny to think someone at the front of the catalog would be saying, "I have no idea what people want."
Well, I do what I want. I guess that's how I tackle it, and I'm being really honest here. I'm trying to make what I think I would like, and a lot of times I guess it's what other people would like. But trying to figure out what other people want gets me into trouble, I think. I just try to make what I think is pleasing, or whatever I'm trying to go for.
So you're just lucky that other people like the same things that you like.
I guess so. I guess so.
Well, this room is really cute.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Was I gonna do something before? I forget. I was headed to do something, and then we had a question.
Oh, how do you find a decorated room?
How do you buy one? That's right. This is so super important, because if we don't do it the right way, we can have trouble. Okay, so you go back to the shop and you go into rooms, and there's a category called decorated rooms. And you say you want to try. Let's try one. You try the room. I wonder if it won't let me though, because I own everything. It won't. So we'll try someone else's, because I own. And so you try on the room, and everything loads. So it takes a little bit longer because it has the whole room to load.
Oh, I think I like this room. I want to buy it now. I like that bookcase.
That's cool. Very cool. I'm going to sit down.
I almost only buy decorated rooms now because I tried to save money. Sometimes they cost more than buying the pieces individually, but it's so worth it. It's so hard.
Time saver.
Decorating. Sure. Yeah.
Time saver for sure. So I'm not 100% positive of this, but if you don't, if you I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that if you're going to purchase this room, to click the little yellow buy button up in the icon is the way to guarantee it will be delivered to you decorated. Because if you click down here, I think, this is just what I've been told from customers, I could be wrong, that it delivers all the pieces to you but not decorated. Someone tell me if I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah, I have had a lot of trouble where maybe that's what I'm doing, but sometimes my decorated rooms that I purchased,
Come
yeah,
undecorated.
I have to go back and like buy it again. And I think the
Yes.
last one I bought just never worked out right. I'm like, this is terrible. I don't have it. Even though it says I own it, it's not.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little tricky. But if you do the wrong thing, I think just go back and try to buy it again. It's not going to charge you for things twice.
Correct. It doesn't charge again. And I do have customers that tell me that, and I explain, go back and buy it with a little yellow button. And if it doesn't work, let me know. And they never come back and tell me it didn't work. So I think that's what worked. So buy it from the little yellow button.
Oh my God, this whole Twitch session was worth it for me just for that.
Well, I believe that this little button down here treats it as a buy all. So then it just gives you all the stuff in the room.
Oh.
And then the buy up here gives you the decorated room.
I may have to actually file a bug report on that.
But know that I might be wrong. I'm just going by what some customers have told me, and then I said, do it this way, and then they never told me that didn't work, so I assumed it worked.
Prim just said in chat that you have to buy the full bundle. If you remove a piece or change anything, it won't come decorated. So.
Oh, do you mean like if you're in the shop right here, if I decide I want everything but this unicorn head? And
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Yeah, I wish you could remove things though, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I want everything but like that box of Pampers that is just wrong for so many reasons,
Yeah. So,
but I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, of course that will cause problems because you've loaded in a product. The furnished room is a product, so if you interfere with that in some way, it will essentially break it because you're breaking what the product was that was uploaded originally. So that's why that would cause problems if you removed an item or two.
Makes sense.
What do you call that thing where you talk and people find it really relaxing, or you like brush your hair or something on video? You know what I'm talking about?
Who? What? What?
It's a thing. It's where people are they like certain voices or certain sounds, and there are a ton of YouTube videos that people just watch to relax, and it also kind of gives them the tingles.
Oh, are you talking about me? Yes, golf announcer's voice has been said before, so this is not quite my golf announcer's voice, but
I'm gonna find out what the name. Oh, ASMR.
Oh, I've never heard of this.
Yes, ASMR.
What are those?
Autonomous sensory meridian response, a term used for an experience characterized by a static-like or tingling sensation on the skin that begins on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and upper spine. But a lot of it is from people's voices.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just need to get a really high quality microphone and you have a new YouTube career.
Well, I'm not sure about the latter part, but new mic is on the cards, so maybe career fork off to the side somewhere. I'm just enjoying the chat actually, so
You can't do the put your focus two places in one.
Well, I can, but if people want the correct answers to their questions, it's best to focus on what they're asking.
So Whims, do you have a second room? Were you going to just decorate it the same, or do you have another
Yeah,
decoration?
no, I was gonna do it the same. I mean,
Okay.
I don't have any other plans for it.
Oh, that's fine. Maybe we can just let JazzKat answer his blender questions
No,
then.
it's fine. I mean, this has actually been quite interesting for me because I don't use this feature of IMVU to create bundled rooms. You know, you generally just create the individual items and let other people do the decorating themselves. But I guess there is a market there for um,
Mhm.
finished rooms that aren't locked. You know, like the chair you can't move because it's actually part of the mesh. Hint,
Mhm.
hint. A name that shall not be mentioned.
So you're saying you would rather build the chair into the room? Or you
No.
just
It's just build them separately and then let other people decorate the rooms. I didn't know or didn't realize that decorated rooms were popular or as popular as they appear to be.
Yeah, I think they really are, and some of them are really reasonably priced too. If you look at the front page here, I'm looking at, one of them is, well, Whims has one that's what 3,500 credits or something, and then
Mhm.
there's another one for 3,000 something. Oh, there's a couple of them on the front page for 3,000 something. That looks like a really popular price point. And I
Yeah,
think you could duplicate the furniture, right? So you're decorating a room, you can make three of the same chair in a room, right? So
Right. Keep the price down.
yeah.
Mhm.
I don't last time I spent a lot of time decorating a room, all the furniture disappeared out of it. And I was like, I hate this. So
but you do have to go through a particular pathway to creating the room. It's you. However you make the room in terms of adding the furniture, that product then has to be made a public room, and it's
yeah.
from there that you then create the room bundle product.
Correct.
Right. See,
And
I
and
didn't know that.
I think there are a lot of people who make their items not bundleable. So does that count for decorated rooms also?
I don't know because I have never run into a case because I often don't pay attention to that little note at the bottom of the product page, but I've never had it happen that I couldn't do it. And I don't know if I've just been lucky in the thousands of products that I've made that I haven't run into it, or if it doesn't matter.
Well, you
Don't.
mostly are just using your own stuff, right?
Well, the meshes have to be bundleable. I guess that's what I meant. The meshes themselves, and
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure once you derive from it, that doesn't matter
it,
anymore.
oh really?
Okay, so
I didn't know that.
couple of questions. Dominic Blank. Okay, so question. This is wishes, by the way. Can you add stuff in a pre-decorated room and have it saved? So I'm
Yes,
guessing if you've purchased a room and you add things to it,
yes, and it changes to whatever you've added it to.
and then
So if
Hulu Prim asked, so what do you think sells better? Rooms for people to hang out in, or rooms that are really uh, that are just a pretty scene for a photo?
oh, they both the same. That there's a market for everything. There's some people like little tiny chat rooms where they can hang out with one or two friends, and those sell really well. Sometimes depends if it's the right room. And then other people want giant mansions, to raise their role play family, and those sell really well. And some people just want photo stream rooms, and those sell really well. There really, really isn't one type of room that sells better than the rest. At least for me, I'm finding, as long as it's the something that people it doesn't matter. They all sell equally well, in my experience.
So we often get asked. Well, we actually got asked quite. Prim did anyway. The idea of the successful creator and what they target. And, a lot of creators think that they can target everything, which doesn't really help. So if everything is, let's say equally successful for the sake of argument, is it better then to focus on a particular genre, or, be a jack of all trades?
I think, which is funny for me to say because I tend to do not focus in rooms in one genre. But if you're just getting started, it's probably, you could be finding a little more success if you stick to one general genre instead of trying to put your hand in too many pots at once. And you can find out what you like and what you really enjoy, I think.
I think oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. I'm good.
Oh, for me as a shopper, I'm just going to say that that if I find some creator that I like, I will look for them again and again. So it doesn't matter if they make new things, new types of things. I think that's great, because then I'm like, oh, now they've made something else, but I know it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you have to build up a little name for yourself, but then you can kind of make anything you want.
But when you're starting, I don't know.
I'd agree with what you were saying, because that's the whole thing about starting off, is so long as you stick with stuff that you enjoy doing, you'll stick with it long enough to develop a feel for the community and the products that you can sell. If you come into it straight away thinking that you're going to make loads of money, you're not going to be with it for very long.
Nope. No, there's you have to do it to enjoy it. People are do interviews and what's your best advice? That is my best advice: is do it to enjoy it, not to be famous or rich, because you need to enjoy it, because it's a lot of work.
Yes, it is a lot of work. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. That would be an interesting challenge, to who can make the best decorated room.
Well, good luck judging that one.
You're not judging it?
Well, crikey, given the amount of effort we had to put in for the pumpkin patch, and that was just a single item.
I think that was just a little disorganized. I don't know. And there was so much copyright and trademark in there, and it's just like trying to weed all that stuff out. I don't know. We needed Prim in there from the very beginning and make her like a moderator in the room, so she could just kind of go like delete, 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 delete.
Oh, that's something you actually just touched on. If you're making bundles with items that are from creators that get copyright strikes against them, what does that do to the bundle?
I think Whims probably doesn't have that problem, because she's usually just deriving from a mesher. And meshers aren't really doing copyright infringement.
Yeah, so I don't know what would happen.
Because the normal... Go on, sorry.
I would guess that it's just going to take that one item from you. And you'll still have a decorated room.
But if the room is based on everything... no, I don't know.
Yes, because if you take, as we were talking earlier, if you take a single item out of the bundle and it breaks the bundle, if an item is taken out through a DMCA or for whatever reason, I would imagine that it would have a similar or the same consequences to the room breaking, basically.
But it just breaks it when you're buying it. Once you purchase the room, you have a decorated room, and if you make changes to it, those changes stick. So I would imagine if customer service made changes to it, like those changes would stick too.
Right.
Once you purchase it.
Right.
It's tricky though. So, Whims, you didn't make that product into an actual bundle?
The one that we just did?
Yeah.
Well, I do have it actually already here. We'll put it in. It's the same room. I did it for us on the screen, but I had already done it, so I didn't want to do it twice.
Oh.
Because when I had... Sorry, go ahead.
Can you send me a link to the bundle?
Yep.
I think we're going to give it to a few people in the chat.
Okay, let me...
So this is the room that's going to be used to plonk the gift wrap things into.
Yeah, maybe I can try and put the presents in at some point. I don't know how. I don't think there are very many entries for some crazy reason.
Well, not yet, anyway.
Not yet, but what's taking so long? People.
Well, someone in particular has yet to finish a hat box stack.
Oh, everybody is waiting for a stack of hat boxes. Like, oh, once those hat boxes are done, then I'm going to enter.
You never know, they might be.
Maybe they might. There might be one person who thinks that way. Like, anywhere.
How do you want me to send this to you? On IMVU, the link on a message, or?
Yeah, I don't know if you can. Oh, if you can email it to me, or
yeah.
Send it. You know what? You can send it right in the Zoom. Send me the link in the Zoom.
Oh, I don't know how to do it.
There should be a little icon, little chat bubble icon.
Yeah.
Oh,
right next to the share screen.
Hang on. We were showing that, so just do it now whilst I've just got it off screen.
Just chat?
Yes.
And then just put, okay, I get it. This is easier than it.
I'm sure we can show that part, right? Like.
Well, just to be on the safe side.
You're the one who's so cautious, and I'm like, whoa, let's do this.
Yeah. Oh no, you're seeing the surprise. Oh dear.
What are we seeing? What's the surprise?
Oh, well, if it's on screen, you can see it. I mean, if you're watching the stream, you can see it.
You made bows. Is that what the surprise?
Yeah.
Oh, yay!
You broke it.
I can still be really happy about it, though. That's awesome. Bows. Are they mapped bows?
Oh yeah. It's all there, ready to go. But the whole point of them was because they look really, really complicated, but they're not.
Oh, so you're going to show us how you did it?
Yes, that was the plan.
Nice.
Emphasis on the word was.
Oh, wait. Was? Now you're not?
Maybe.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out where the Zoom thing is. I have no idea. Like, put the link there. Now I can't find it. So Whims, this has been great. And if you want to hang out with us for the rest of the chat, that's awesome. We will love that. And if you don't have that much time, that's awesome too.
Okay. Well, I will actually hang out just to be here for a little bit.
Great.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, we're really excited. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's actually I mean, it's interesting. It's always interesting to see how other creators are using IMVU to do what they do. So, it's not that I don't like what you're doing, but for the sake of argument, but you know what I mean? It's like,
yes.
It's somebody doesn't necessarily need to like what it is that you're doing, but it's always interesting to see how other people are doing things.
I think Tim is telling me. Oh, go ahead.
I can stop the share of my screen.
Yes. I know nothing. Just responding to the comments in chat. So there's a lot of thank yous, Whims, so people did appreciate that.
Well, awesome. It was my pleasure.
Yeah, are you looking at the Twitch ones?
No, I'm looking how to look at the Twitch.
Oh.
I was trying to be quiet and figure it out.
Yeah, so if you, I think if you just go to twitch.tv/catsbits, I think that's where you. Let me just double
Oh
check.
my gosh.
What?
When I first opened this, like an hour ago, it was at 998 views.
Yeah.
And now I see 1,144. We
Oh.
quietly just smashed past 1,000 while we were just listening to Whims.
That's nice. He says in a Marvin the paranoid android voice. That's terribly nice.
Makes me paranoid.
Yeah, so if you just go
twitch.tv, I think I'm there.
Yeah, /catsbits, and then you
Thank
get
you.
there. You might get an advert or two.
Yep, I sure am.
Oh yeah, and some audio that if we hear it will echo.
Oh, question. When this is from Ash Memes or Ash Memes. When people buy your content, where does the money go? Does it go directly into your balance, or is there something else?
Are you asking me?
Well, that is a question being asked by chat, so anybody can answer that one.
As staff, I can answer it, I guess. When people buy your content, if you aren't signed up for the royalty program, what happens is you have a 2-week hold on your credits. They go into what we call pen, and then they go into your balance. But you can sign up for the royalty program, and then you can earn real money that goes into a balance that you can request, but you still have to wait 2 weeks. So it's either just a matter of waiting and you get credits, or it's a matter of like waiting and then you sign up and then you can request money from IMVU. If you haven't earned $50 yet, don't worry about it.
So does that answer the question, Ash Memes? We'll have to wait for their audio to catch up. You're welcome.
Okay. That's not too bad of a delay.
No.
Well, I thought that Prim was going to give away some room bundles for me, but she hasn't. So if anyone wants to share their real avatar name, I'm going to give out a few bundles.
Is that for everyone that's commenting on in the chat, you mean?
Yeah, people commenting on the chat.
Ooh, surprise. Surprise gift.
Yeah, unless you don't want a room bundle, I don't know.
For turning up and participating.
Yes.
Without saying, like me, follow me, subscribe to me as they always normally do?
Yeah, I feel like when we promoted it in Explore, we got some small amount of that. So
Small? I was bombarded.
oh no, your post was bombarded, but the amount that we got in here
Oh, right,
was
yes, yeah.
was very small. So let's see here. I have way too many browser windows. Let's see here. And I'm seeing saying let's see here way too many times. Jimmy Rose. Okay, I'm definitely gonna give it to Jimmy Rose, who also participated last time. So
Yes.
that's very
Nice.
And we still need people to come up with
and who I think
a name for you, don't we, Jinx?
oh yeah, I know I can't change the name on Twitch for like 90 days anyway, so maybe you can just wait a little bit so I can change it both places.
Yes.
Let's see here. So don't we see Jimmy Rose on Instagram? That sounds really familiar to me.
No, Jimmy is one of the Blender users.
Oh, maybe that's from the beta group that I'm.
Oh, yes, yes. She was involved with the beta group, yes. Yeah.
Oh, mine is my Twitch name. I missed that before. Okay.
Yeah, so if you're typing your IMVU name into the chat, hang tight whilst Jinx scrolls back and forth through it to get them.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Scrolling that's too much for me.
So Wishes asked, what are the main, uppercase, main things you want to focus on when starting up as a creator? We kind of covered this earlier, didn't we?
Do what you think you're going to enjoy doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Just start off doing what you enjoy doing.
Okay, I think I've gifted Wishes with 2 eyes, Jimmy Rose, and Ash Memes. Hopefully with the correct spelling on all of those.
Yeah, so if you put your name in, double check your
Oh, this is still in peer review though.
Sorry?
Let me fix that. Nothing, never mind. I hope that didn't mess things up. Carry on.
No, I was just going to say, no need to apologise, Wishes. You joined when you joined. That's all.
No Instagram. Now that you should apologize for.
No, I would say I'm good. Not in a bad way, but good in a... Well, no, actually, yeah, good in a bad way. It's good that you don't have it.
No, Instagram is great. It's a great way to connect with other users and other creators, and it's very visual and it's kind of fun. Like I can't stand Facebook, but I really like Instagram. And if you're a visual person, I think it's really great.
I love Facebook.
And right now, oh what?
I said I love Facebook.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I just I don't like their algorithm for how they promote content. I feel like if you make original content, then there's a good chance that no one will see it. But if you just
that's a really good point.
meme or something, then like everybody sees this thing that has been forwarded 1,000 times. I don't know.
No, you make a good point.
So it's probably just the way I use it, but I don't really like it. Yeah, but I like Instagram. And right now, there are a lot of creators on Instagram who are having a lot of contests and things. And it's a fun time to be there and follow them. I want this guy to document my life. Which guy? JazzKat? Now it's very quiet.
No, this is just waiting for the answer to that question you just asked,
Oh,
which is not 42.
isn't that the answer to everything?
Yes.
Oh yeah, an art Instagram. That would be perfect to just transfer over to IMVU. Maybe put a .vu at the end of the name. I feel like we could get some deviant art users like over to IMVU creating, and that would be kind of good.
Well, they're big on DAZ 3D and Hexagon, which I just posted a tutorial about. But there's definitely potential there.
Yeah, I feel like most of the stuff I see created in DAZ 3D is kind of lifeless looking. Like when I see art that comes from IMVU, people take IMVU pictures and then they enhance them a bit or, make an edit. Like those look so much more lifelike in a way. Like not like you think it's a photograph or something, but it looks alive, I guess.
Yeah, there's I suppose there's an argument to make there for the uncanny valley.
Yeah, theirs is they have the uncanny
Yes.
valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
The next more Freeman. You are getting a lot of really positive attention.
yeah. The less said about that, the better.
Is this time or? Wait, what are DPs? I should know that.
Display pictures.
Oh, like your profile picture?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think IMVU wants to have a service for that, like to help, connect people that make those with people that want them.
Oh, nice.
That would probably be better than just using groups, which don't function as well as they could.
No. If at all.
Oh, they function. I mean, I have like 20 of them. I try to keep track of different.
Yeah, but I mean, to be truly useful, you'd need to want to be able to, contact members of the group without necessarily having to click on each of their names and sending a private message to each of them.
Yeah, you also, it would be nice if you could set it so that you actually get an alert when somebody posts it.
Yeah.
I think that's why they die out all the time.
Yeah.
Because people just know somebody's posted something. It's very frustrating.
Yeah. Which is a shame because they are useful. They are very useful.
Yeah, and that seems like such a simple feature.
Yeah.
Gasser, wait, I've seen that forum. Isn't that all about second part, like the same thing, like making DPs for people?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And like custom skins and things.
All kinds of texture and graphics.
Well, it'd be great if something like that was linking into IMVU. I'd be the first one on there. Well, it might be coming, so. Endorse Gasser. Well, the problem with that is that almost everything goes away after a certain amount of time, so and you might say, oh, it's been around for 10 years, it's not going anywhere, but they do. So it's easier for IMVU to have control over something like that. And also, to be honest, like IMVU would probably make 10% of whatever people paid. And so, IMVU would rather be taking their 10% cut. So
that's neat. Or that would be neat.
Yeah, I hope it happens, and I hope it gets done right. So we'll see. Can we put up links? That sounds like a JazzKat question.
Well, as far as I'm aware, yes, you can post links.
But if we don't like them, we'll moderate you.
Yes.
And we're mean.
Yeah, dun dun dun.
Yeah. So what wasn't there a question like, I don't know, an hour ago that we just did kind of ignore?
Oh, Blender question, yes. Let me scroll all the way up to the top. Oh, does it not keep... The chat doesn't keep the entire history of...
Oh, it doesn't? It must, though, because if you play it over again, it would show.
Yeah, I can't seem to scroll all the way up to the top, though.
Maybe you're just too fast for it. Is that why resellers went away as well? Yeah, I think with resellers, you know, there just is a lot of potential for fraud, and you know, it's a lot of trouble for IMVU's customer service where people are like, oh, I didn't get this, or you know, you don't know if you're buying from a legitimate reseller or a not legitimate one or whatever. I think it's kind of to simplify everything and to cut down on customer service problems. And I'm sure it helps to control the economy also.
Yeah, it did. That was one of the primary reasons was... oh, that's interesting. Jimmy just posted a picture link to a rendered image that was done in Daz. It's of two horses standing behind a wooden
I must have clicked the other
fence.
one. Oh.
Oh, is that yours, Liana, MC? That's done with Daz.
It looks very almost IMVU to me. Like you could have something that looked like that in IMVU. The horses.
Yeah, yeah.
What about the other one? Well, no, yeah, the other one you could have in IMVU would be a little harder, I think, to get that lighting just right. And the pose with no clipping.
Oh yeah, the first one is that's doable, definitely doable in IMVU or IMVU.
I say IMVU. Everyone in the office says IMVU.
I'm trying to say IMVU, but I can't.
No,
That's
it sounds wrong. It just sounds wrong.
For 10 years, it's been
Yeah.
IMVU.
Yeah, yeah. I agree completely. I agree completely, 100%.
Prim did a survey, like, how do you think it's pronounced? And it was like 77% of people said IMVU. But I'm just telling you that around the office, people say IMVU, so not even saying that's right, just what people do at the office.
What is it? We acknowledge and appreciate your input, but...
well, I'm saying that it's IMVU's office. It's all employees of IMVU.
Yeah. No, you know, we appreciate your input as users.
Yeah. You do outnumber the employees. That's
just a bit.
So did I actually give out those bundles or not? Like, the thing was in peer review, so I'm not sure what happened. Maybe I should just try again.
No, you mean the rooms? Did you gift them out?
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
yes. Somebody, I think Wishes said she got. I'm assuming it's she. She got hers, so I guess the others will. Did they say? Not quite sure. I think they got them.
Can you wait? What? You don't pronounce something like that as a word unless it spells out an actual word. But here's the thing: IMVU is not an acronym, though. So why would you just spell out the letters?
It's gobbledygook.
Yeah, when it doesn't actually stand for anything.
No. Yes, Wishes got the room.
I got mine in Yeah, I'm a Girl. I must have missed something there. Can you say who is talking and where you're from? That's a good question.
Well, I'm Whims. I'm
Yeah.
Whims, and I'm from Arizona.
I'm JazzKat from the UK.
I'm Jinx, and I live in California, and I work for IMVU. It looks like one. Oh, it does. It looks like an acronym. Yeah.
Oh,
So should we?
yeah. Jinx is the only one that works for IMVU. Whims and myself are users just like you.
Oh, from where we stand in IMVU?
I guess that means whether you work for IMVU.
I'm not sure. Well, I'm the manager of the creator program, so I don't know if that explains where I stand in IMVU or not. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so question answered, really. Jinx works for IMVU and Whims and myself are just users.
Not just users, but very good creators.
Well,
Whims is one of the best texture artists, especially when it comes to furniture and rooms. And she does amazing bundles. And JazzKat is like our Blender expert who spent so much time making all of these Blender tutorials, not just IMU users.
Thanks, Jinx.
yeah, wipes tear from under eye.
Whatever. Don't you have some other Blender questions to answer?
Yeah, so if that person is still here that asked that question earlier, I can't seem to scroll up to it for some reason, so you
Oh,
may...
so you don't know what the question is?
No, I don't know. All I know is there was a question. And it needed to be answered.
I can't scroll up because I refreshed the page like 15 minutes ago. So
No, well, it's just you. It looks like it only saves a certain amount of chat in the scrolly thing.
Oh, yeah, the scrolly thing. You could record or save this recording and then go back and watch it from the beginning to find it.
I could do that.
If you were crazy or something.
Yes, if I was completely bonkers.
Instead of only halfway bonkers.
So Ash Memes asked, they are trying to get Blender to work, but it's acting weird.
Well, that's not really a question.
No, you'd have to define acting and weird.
Can you explain leveling up as a creator? I'm level 3, and oh my goodness, I'm telling you, I'm trying my hardest to level up. I have to say, it's very easy to get to level 3. Like, my staff account is a level 3, and I don't really do anything. Like, every once in a while, I have to submit a room for some random reason or something. And I'm level 3. Like, yeah, you gotta step up your game if you want to move up farther, for sure. Although some easy things to do are just submit a lot of products.
Do peer review. Do they still do that for peer review?
Yeah, and I think now that they've kicked a bunch of people out of peer review, that you won't have to review as much stuff. But you could get you could get 3 points for peer review.
Do make sure to absolutely know the virtual goods policy rules.
Yep.
I think if you just submitted a couple hundred things to the catalog, that you would just have 3 points from that. Oh, and go leave a review on one of your products because you'll get 3 points for that. That's the dumbest one. We should change that. But so that's 9 points right there. That's probably level 3. I don't know.
Do discussions? We used to do the forum, but do discussions count towards that
Yeah,
now?
gave you 3 points, but discussions is not hooked up to do that. So we should find if anyone has any ideas of what else we could do instead.
Submitting is really the best and fastest way because you get points for number of products in the catalog and for products newly submitted. Am I right about that?
Yes.
I haven't looked at my tier in so long. Yeah. So submitting would be a faster and doing peer review and like you said, leaving a review on your product.
Yeah, that's the most ridiculous.
Basically, participating within the broader community rather than just, sticking to your own guns, so to speak.
I think you have to do quite a bit of peer review to get the points, but that is a very good way of participating in the community. Like people should really do more peer review.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about doing some here on the Twitch thing, but maybe not today. But just to show people, like this is how you do peer review, and this is something that you feel.
This is how you spin the captcha doggy.
How you what?
Spin the captcha doggy in between the, when you're doing peer review, there's a little, captcha in between.
Yes, yeah.
I don't like the ones where they're like, where they ask you like, which tiles have a rooftop?
Oh, I know.
I'm like, oh god, is that a rooftop? I don't know. It's hard. Like, which tiles have a piece of fruit? Like, it's easy. It's really not.
So Ash Memes was saying that they got an error when they booted up Blender, I guess. If it's an error on actual boot up, then you might just have to re-download and try reinstalling it, or you could reinstall the version that you have, but reinstall to a specific folder that you create. You can do that. That'll install another version or another instance of the program, which should work, and that'll indicate whether. Sorry, go on.
The problem is, but then she's saying the problem is Sims 4 Studio only works with an older version.
Yes, well, that's fine. So if you're using an older version of Blender, because you were using that for Sims 4, you can use that with no problems. When you are installing a newer version... Sorry?
It's working. Got it.
Oh.
Always through a time delay, we're in the future and we're so behind on the task.
Yeah.
No, but tell us though, what would you do?
No, I was just going to say that all you need to do is you can, when you install it, don't install it to the default folder, which is just Blender. Create a new folder for the version that you're installing. So let's say you downloaded the latest one, which is 2.79. When you get to the point where it's asking you where it wants to install the program, create a new folder called 2.79 and install it into that. And that'll stop it from, in theory, it should stop it from overwriting the defaults that you've got in place from the older version or the original version that you had installed.
That is a very good tip.
Well, I don't know if it does it with other 3D applications, but Blender is quite interesting in that way, in that you can have dozens. So long as you install to a specific folder that's specific to the version you are installing, you can have dozens of iterations of the program installed. So for all my testing stuff, I've got versions from 2.79 all the way back to 2.45, which is about 20 or 30 different versions. And you can run them all at the same time. You can't do... I don't think you can do that with Macs, you see. I don't think you can open multiple instances of the program, can you?
Oh, you can. I think you can.
You
Even
can?
with the same, well, I know you can with the same version. So like if I have Max 2012, I can have it running twice. I know because I do that by accident
Right.
sometimes. Like because I think I can just open the file and it will just open in the program as would happen with Photoshop. But instead, I've opened the program and then it opens a second instance of the program.
Cool. Yeah. There aren't many programs that will allow you to do that.
I just find it annoying because I never actually want to do that. It's always a mistake.
Well, I suppose I'd best show you these ribbons then.
Yes. Yay.
Okie dokie. So, they're pretty simple. If you saw Jinx's video or show before when we were doing the hat boxes, we
Which you probably did it because we had like 3 people watching.
Well, no, there's a few people have watched them in archive, so... But it's the same principle. So, what I'll do is... I'm just going to center the cursor on this root node that we've got selected, which is Shift S to bring up the menu, cursor to selected, and then all I'm going to do is use that as an origin point to add 2 cubes. One, just move that out of the way, and 2.
Why are you adding 2 cubes?
You'll see.
Oh, okay.
So the trick is that you're not actually making a ribbon, you're making something that looks like one. And it sounds obvious, but that's the thing that trips people up, is that they're trying to make a ribbon. So they're trying to make the mesh in the same way that they would tie a ribbon into a bow. And obviously that's just a non-starter, that. So what you can do is break the shape down into its core components. So we've got, if I just zoom in on this blue one, there we go. So the core components are obviously the bow bit. You've got the center bit where the knot would be, and then you've got the what would those be called? The tail ends. So we just want 2 of these components because we can use one of these to create some of the other elements. So what we can do with one of the cubes is, if we switch into I'll just switch into solid mode so we can see the meshes more easily. Switch to edit mode. We're just going to make some adjustments to the box. So I've switched from perspective and gone into front. I've used the keyboard shortcuts which are listed there in the menu. So all I'm going to do is, I've selected those items, so that's the A key. I'm just going to adjust its position so the bottom of this is sat flat on the plane, on the ground plane I should say. Next thing to do is switch to wireframe so we can make a selection through the mesh. Because the mesh is transparent, we can select both sides, so that's the front and the back. And then we're just going to squish that down, and then we can either use the scale widget or press the S key, and we just want to create a trapezoid. How do you pronounce that? Trapezoid.
Trapezoid.
Yeah. Well, a lozenge-ish. That's a block of chocolate.
Oh,
So we've
yeah.
got a block of chocolate, basically. So that thing that we just created with, what, 3 moves, is going to be this middle section of the bow. This section. So all we've done is created a basic, very basic shape. Next, we want to create a basic shape that we can use to create the ribbon loop. So with that, we want to select the other box, edit mode. We want to remove 3 faces from this. So we shift right click, select them. And then we press the X key or delete key. They'll both do the same thing, and just remove those faces. So this leaves us with a partial mesh. So what we can do with this, switch to edge select mode, select this top edge, and using the widget, just drag it downwards. We'll actually drag the bottom face upwards so that that sits on the bottom plane to make this easier, like so. So we create this open triangle. So if I put the 2 of these together, you can already see the basics of the bow starting to form. And all we've done is use 2 shapes and about 4 or 5, half a dozen manipulations of the mesh. So the next bit is going to depend on how detailed you want the bow. Now, if you're going to splatter a lot of these around a gift box or whatever it is that you're doing, you want to keep the number of edges and polygons, that's these individual, these individual faces, you want to keep those to a minimum. So what we need to do, edit mode again, we're going to switch to edge mode, and we're going to lay some loop cuts across this mesh. Scroll up or down to add or reduce the number of loops. Left click, that selects, left click to set. That will work just as easily, Ash Memes. So do that again. Create them in, she's saying she will create them in Sims 4 and then port them over. And that'll work just as easily. And then switch to, make this easier, front. So that's remove perspective. And then front view. And then I'm going to switch to vertex select. I'm going to change to wireframe, and this makes sure that I can make selections and it selects both sides of the mesh. And then all I'm going to do is press the G key, which puts us into free translate mode. Press that and it allows me to move the selection. I'm just going to do that and create a rough bow shape, or a rough circular shape. Like so. So what we have is now a bow-ish shape that we can modify. So what we can do here is switch to edge mode again, right click that front edge, Let me just move this back out of here so that we can see that better. Select that front edge, shift right click the other front edge, and we can press the S key and scale those together along the Y axis. So if you initiate the scale tool, S, press the Y key, and you can scale them along that fixed axis, or switch to the scale manipulator and just left click drag the handles in. So go back over the structure that we've just created, selecting some of the edges, not all of them, and create a more organic appearance to the structure, which gives us that. Now, to make it a bit more organic, we can add a loop cut down the center of the mesh, and then we can pull a number of selections, switching to the translate widget, which is the move widget. We can move these inwards, and this will create, whoops, this will create our softer bow shape. Like so. If anyone's asking questions, Jinxie, that I need to answer.
They actually aren't. People are just saying, like, I said this puts me to sleep, and they said us too. No.
Yeah.
No.
Do not operate machinery whilst listening to these videos.
No, people were commenting but not asking questions. So.
Oh, that's all right. So once you've got your basic shape, and that's literally all it is so that you create you've got your cube, you remove essentially half of it so that you have a C shape, and then using the various manipulators, that's the edge and vertex in particular, you just change the shape and the position of the edges so that you create a soft curved shape. And then what you can do is add smoothing to that, which will create the much softer appearance, and that's essentially one half of the bow. And then all you need to do is duplicate that, which is Shift D, or duplicate objects from the Object menu, which creates a duplicate. Right click just to reset, and then mirror this, which is Control M, and I think it's the Y axis. No, it's not, it's the X axis, so let's press the X key. Left click to set, and just reposition this roughly where you want it to be, because we need to accommodate the center. So you just move that into position, press the S key to scale it down. And we can make a couple of adjustments to this to make this one softer. So edit mode.
Hey, did you see the new derivable submission, gift box submission?
No.
I just was looking to see how many submissions there were.
Oh,
There's
right.
like,
No, I don't know.
oh, well, you should look at it. It's really cute. It's a snowman holding a present and a whole thing.
That's cute.
And there you have the basics of a bow. And to get the droops or the drops, all you need to do select one of the halves that you've created, face select mode, right click a couple, you don't need all of them, just a couple of the faces, Shift D, that's the duplicate. Where's it gone? This is where muscle memory causes problems because I cannot remember. Oh, there it is. Add duplicate. So what that's doing is duplicating the selection. Shift D. Right click to release. Then we want to separate this into its own mesh. So press the P key. That's P for Peter. Selection. Exit edit mode. Select the section that we just separated. Then switch to top and just rotate this around, pressing the R key or using the rotate widget. And then duplicate that object, so Shift D creates a duplicate. Just swizzle that around a little bit. And then you'll have to edit this slightly to flatten these because they've still got the original shape of the bow that they were cut from. And there you have a basic simple bow. So it's then just a question of, once you've got the basic elements, these are all separate elements, it's then just a question of editing and changing their shape relative to what you're after. That one's underneath there, which makes it easy to difficult to select. So and that's your bow. That's the meshing part of it, obviously.
Oh, that's pretty. Very fancy.
And that is essentially all that is. And that, and that, and that. I'm not quite happy with that top one that's just selected now, but I can work on that. But another tip is that if you, once you've got your basic shapes, what you can do is keep the original in its raw state. And what you can do is duplicate elements. So you make your selection, do a duplication, and then you can use the duplicates to create
Hey, there is a question.
different
Sorry.
variations. Which is? What's the question?
The question is, oh, hold on, now it's gone. Can you make a box and have the top come off, like animate it?
Can I, or show you?
Yeah, I'm not clear. Is that, can you theoretically, or could you do it right now? Right now, no pressure.
No,
In
we no.
7 minutes.
Yeah, we don't have time for that, unfortunately. But yes, in theory, you can create whatever you can think of.
Yeah, there's actually, if you look at some of the derivable entries that have been submitted, there's stuff where you like pick up the box and shake it and stuff like that. And I think that's actually the same process, basically, because you're picking up part of the mesh and moving it.
Yeah. So that's I mean, that's the basic process. Is you just think of the elements of the object that you're trying to create, and then create the elements of the object. Don't try and create the entire object in one go, because you'll trip over yourself.
So another question is, how do you keep track of all this? Do you plan it out on paper and pencil?
Um, Keep track of what, the process or the ideas?
I think the ideas.
You well, for me personally, it's just you have a sort of a stereotyped image in your head, a stereotype of what a bow might look like based on
Sorry.
what you've seen, and then just build it based on that stereotyped image, which is often actually quite useful, because the image that you have in your head is a simplified version of the actual thing. It's a symbol. The image in your head resembles a symbol, and in a sense it's that symbol that you're creating. You're not creating an actual ribbon, you're actually creating a symbolic representation of the ribbon.
I sketch things out.
Yes, I mean, it's an either or. I mean, I guess it really depends on the way that you think and the way that you generally process things. I've found that people that work with their hands, people that are good with their hands, tend to think visually and work from those visual images. But some people, others that aren't necessarily as good with their hands, tend to plan things out. So they will have a sketch, and they'll break the sketch down into sections, and they'll work on the concepts of what they sketch down.
Yeah,
So,
well, for me, I just feel like it's just about planning
yeah.
To do things efficiently, especially because in there.com, you would only have like 100 polygons to make
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
And you could, if you're making a table, you might kind of really simple one, you might think of it in your head. But if you're trying to make something complex and say, how much can I do with 100 polygons? It's very
Yeah.
helpful to
Yeah.
sketch it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose from that point of view, the technical aspect of it is something that you definitely do get an eye for once you've created a fair few items. You get a feel for how the technology behaves that you are putting the thing into. So for there.com, that was when was that? That was 2002 to 2004, 5-ish.
Theoretically, they're around now. Like they closed for 2 years and then they reopened.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they were around till, I don't know, at least 2008, I think. And then they closed for 2 years.
Oh,
And then they reopened. Yeah. I'm banned there, though.
oh. Well, won't ask why.
You can. I don't care.
No, won't ask.
Okay.
Don't ask, don't tell. No, but it just depends. I mean, it depends on how you. Some people use sketches, others just work from what's in their head. And for this kind of stuff, for just showing things, it's just often easier just to do things from the images in your head.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's good. Well, yeah, it does depend on how well you know the program, I think. Like if I'm
Yes.
doing something in Photoshop, I can think so many steps
Yeah.
ahead of what
Yeah.
I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But when I'm doing 3D modeling, like I definitely am not some kind of expert that I mean, I need to be smart about it, or you can just get lost in a project.
Well, this kind of fits
I think.
into the question that was asked of Whims about, the person was asking about not having interior decoration skills. And it doesn't really matter in that sense, but in relation to this what we're talking about now, you're kind of, when you're decorating rooms, you put an object into the room, you see how it affects the space, then you're looking at the rest of the room with an eye, with a mind's eye of what you think can go into the room. And that's essentially it's, although this is done with Blender and you're talking about 3D, you're talking about Photoshop, the same principle kind of applies with just decorating rooms. You're altering something, thinking ahead, and then making adjustments based on the projection that you think might work. And it's all kind of the same thing.
Yeah. But I just think, I mean, things like the bow that we were making before, and it just wasn't wrapped. I mean, it was just so hard to unwrap, in my opinion. Like, that's the kind of thing I would want to think about ahead of time. Like, think, how am I going to unwrap it later?
Well, I mean, yes, because you've got two ways of doing that. I mean, there's this strip that I was using to create this. I don't know what shape that is. It was just being crazy. But yeah, you've got two ways of doing it. The way that you would want to do it is that you can create your basic formal shape. So that is literally, I mean, obviously it's a bow shape, but it's flat. There's no, as we are looking at the screen, there's no up, down deviation to the shape. So you can easily unwrap that. Let me just expand that. You can easily unwrap that, and because it's a ribbon, you don't necessarily have to pay too much attention to the distribution of the UVs, just so long as you can get your ribbon texture to fit the width. And then once you've done that, you can duplicate what you have and then just start playing around with it.
Yeah, Polly did hers animated, and she does use 3D Studio Max, but you can animate things in Blender also.
Yes, you can. So you create your initial element and you UV map it the way that you want, and then you alter it. Or you would do the opposite, which is to manipulate the object, and then you'd have to UV unwrap it. And that's where it gets fiddly when you've done something that's relatively complex like that in terms of its shape, not necessarily its structure, but its shape. So we unwrap that, and that creates this funny, almost figurative shape. And that would then require you to, rotate, and you'd have to manually adjust the UVs so that, zoom in on that a bit closer. But again, because this is a very basic object, all that we need is for the width to be properly UV mapped. It doesn't matter what happens to, as we're looking at the image, it doesn't matter what happens left to right. The important bit is top to bottom. So I'll just do this quickly and roughly. And you can see in the 3D view, the bow has been UV mapped. And of course, because we're talking about distorted shapes, you are going to get some distortion, but it doesn't matter too much. But you can then, once you've got one element UV unwrapped, you can then duplicate that and continue with the rest of the mesh. So you you could use these as placeholders. These white versions, you could just delete those and just use that as a duplicate and just use that. And that would sit there. So it's an either or. You've got two different ways of doing things. But one is not necessarily better than the other. It's just a different way of doing things. Which is what we were trying to do with the bows for the hat boxes. But you can also, there's also the, because IMVU does double-sided meshes, you only need to have single-sided meshes. In Blender we can display that. Whoops. Where's it gone? Oh, there it is. It's called backface culling. So if I enable that, so what that does is similar to what IMVU does. It duplicates and inverts the original mesh. So you only actually need to do one side of the mesh, and then you can adjust that with the two-sided thing setting in IMVU. But again, depending on the kind of thing that you want, we can extrude elements of that. So we're making a loop selection, which is Alt right click, then extruding, which is the E key, and then we're rescaling pressing the S key. And then what we can do here is create a set of faces to give the ribbon, to give the ribbon some thickness. And again,
is that automatically taking the mapping from what you already did?
Essentially, yes. It doesn't always do it, but in this instance, because it's such a simple shape, it automatically carries across the UV mapping. So, if you wanted then to, do that again, double check. Okay, I'll leave it like that in wireframe so that we can see. Oh, it's created a set of, so I have to remove doubles for this because it's done something it shouldn't have done. But what I was going to do is we select the outer loops, so that's Alt right click and Shift Alt right click, and then press the S key, Y key, and scale them in or out depending on the appearance you wanted for the bow. And again, add smoothing, and we create a different look for the bows. So rather than being thin single-sided meshes, which for smaller objects is preferable, but for large objects they often sometimes require some depth or presence, and you would do that using the extrude so that you create some actual physical depth. But all of this is, it doesn't need to be complicated. So all you need to do is create your initial basic shapes and then duplicate them, position them, and then work from there. Just do it step by step. So you create your initial loop, duplicate to get the shapes that you want and their positions, and then you can go back in and edit them with more detail as you want. And that's how you make the bows.
So somebody was saying the ribbon is extra thick.
Extra thick?
Yeah, it's extra thick. It must be the one that you were doing.
Too thick? Well, yes, that's preference. If you wanted a more cartoony look, for instance, you might want to create something with a lot of thickness. But it depends on what you were after. So you can play around with the shapes once you've got them.
And then I think one can thicken edges single in the modifier tab, right, Jazz?
Yes, you can. You can. There is a modifier, but it's always it always tends to come down to a question of control. If you do it manually, you've always got control over what it is that you're doing and what you want actually to happen. So you select the edges that you want to change and change them. Whereas a modifier tends to be more global, for want of a better word.
But I'm looking at all these derivable entries, and I have an idea.
Oh?
We should just, not today, but we should just try to derive from them on Twitch.
Yes.
I mean, there's some really interesting different things. It's not just boxes, it's like candy canes and balls and things with the boxes. A tree. One of them comes with a Christmas tree. That one might be a little ambitious for me. I don't know. But
Well, I'd
might.
be up for that. I mean, I will, once I've done, I'll be submitting this to that thingamajiggery. So there'll be a version with something from me in there. With some bows.
With some bows.
Yeah.
What about the hat boxes? You could submit the hat boxes.
Well, that's your project. That's
Well, I think whoever completes it, it's their project.
No. Whoever is going to complete that is you. In 3D Studio Max, I think you said so. Which is fine. That's fine.
I thought you were saying, like, look, I made you a selection of bows to choose from. Is that not what you were saying before?
I don't know where you heard that.
I misunderstood why you made all these bows. You
Yeah,
were mocking me. You were like,
most likely.
haha, you can't even make one bow. Look how many I made.
I would never do that. Never do such a thing. How dare you?
Yeah, that's like that whole British deadpan sort of subtle, not that subtle thing.
Well,
Yeah.
the bows, regardless as to whether you use Blender or 3D Studio Max or Hexagon or Daz 3D, the basic principle applies. You just use some very basic shapes, create a block out of what it is that you want, and then you work more detail into it. If you try creating a bow from the get-go, you will fail. So just start simple and work upwards.
All right, fine. I'm gonna make my own bow.
Yeah, it's I mean, if you want to use 3D Studio Max, we can do that.
Oh, maybe I wasn't gonna do it like on camera or something.
Well, that's
So like,
that's cheating.
why is that cheating? I just like it's a lot of distraction, I don't know. I guess I could try.
Well, I suppose if you want to do it offline, is that the word?
No,
Offline?
I'll do it. I don't know. I just hadn't thought about it.
Well, when is the well? In your defence, Your Honour, we do have. When is the 31st? Is the date for all submissions?
Yep. I do have 15, 16 days, you're saying?
Yeah. So there are 15 days to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you're doing something that's derivable, you probably should get it done before the very last day.
Yes, you should. Very much so.
Whatever. On stream where it didn't happen. Oh no.
Yeah.
Sounds like she's trying to get out of making a boat. I just don't want to do it on camera. Well, no, actually, I was trying to get out of making one. But...
No, well, that's the whole point, though, isn't it? I thought we were, because you're...
Well,
a
the
s-
point is
you
people to learn by you showing
no,
whether
no,
it's
no, no. Well, yes, there is that, but also the whole... You are relatively new to 3D meshing, and we are trying to encourage others who are equally new to meshing to mesh.
But I'm not even that new. But I'm just new. I don't know Blender.
Well, that's... Yeah, so... You're not making a very convincing case for not doing it on stream.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm really new, and it's hard. So it'll go so much faster if you do it.
Yeah, yes,
We
it
want to
would.
show people how to use Blender, whereas I would be doing it in 3D Studio Max. Nobody wants to see that, unless Polly does it.
Exactly. Liana just said we could learn by your mistakes as you make them.
But I wouldn't be making mistakes. I would just be doing what you told me to do. I'll just do it in 3D Studio Max. It's fine.
It's fine. If you want to do it in 3D Studio Max, that's
It
fine.
will be really interesting to look at how the mapping tool is different. Although, didn't we do that with Polly a little bit? Didn't you show?
I don't
No?
recall off the top of my head, actually.
Oh, maybe not.
You're such a wiggle worm.
All right, isn't it time to end? I
Yes,
think we
it
ran
is.
over.
Yes, how conveniently.
Well, maybe I can do it on Monday, but I think we shouldn't spend too long on it because we can also try painting some of those derivations.
Yes.
Derivable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe we can find, I don't know if Whims wants to try to paint one.
Oh, maybe.
She doesn't want to show us her super secret tips for painting.
Yeah, well, the more people we can get involved, the better. I'm all for that. I've absolutely no problems with that whatsoever.
Yeah, I love the idea that if we just find, some of the best texture artists on IMVU, and then we just surprise them, like we get to pick which mesh they paint. What do you think?
That would be a very good idea, actually. In fact, could we not make it a sort of like a little mini competition or contest for the people that appear in chat, that if we post a link to the entries that are there so far, they can select which ones.
Oh, yeah. Be like, we can all kind of vote on it or something in the chat.
Yeah.
Like, which one did they paint?
Yeah.
That's a really great idea.
That's a sort of participation reward for, well, participating. There.
Oh,
very good idea. Good
If
thinking,
I had
Batman.
I would do a Blender gift box with bows and animations with Jazz's help. Well, it's funny you should say that, because if we invite you to our Zoom session,
Yeah, it's not a good.
You would have the video, and Jazz would definitely do a tutorial with you. So
Yeah. It's not a good idea to make offers like that.
Leanna MC.
Yeah. No, I've helped Liana before in the past with she was having trouble trying to figure out how to make an apple pie.
Oh.
And so I did a video that showed the process of making an apple pie tin.
Oh, I don't. I
Blender.
don't need video. Oops.
Yeah, no.
You just the tin, and then you made her make the pie part herself. That sounds like something you would do.
What?
You said you just helped her make the tin.
Oh no, it's the actual structure of the pie. So, you made something that looked like a pie. because she was having
Oh.
trouble trying to do that in
So you
Blender.
helped her make the entire pie, but I have to make the bow part of my presents by myself.
Yes.
Whatever. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it. Do it. That can be like the first thing that we do Monday or something. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine with me. It's you know, I mean, you could even, not that I'm not encouraging that you do this, but you could even start it beforehand and then sort of turn up on screen with it partially done.
Well, I might at least sketch it out on some paper.
Yep.
I don't know. No, I'll think about it first. You know, I have to just think about it first to think of the best way to do it, I guess.
Yep. Well, one way or another, we shall get a set of hat boxes from you.
Yeah, and then I have to import the hat boxes into 3D Studio Max. So it might be, I don't know, is it better for me to do that first, or is it better for me to do that so that other people can see what the heck I'm doing?
Well, either or. I mean, it's if you're going to use 3D. I mean, using 3D Studio Max, I've got no problem with that, because that also then shows people that have got access to that may not have created. They may have used it for something else.
Yeah.
It all counts.
All right, I think it's time to end. At least for me, it is.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Whims, for showing us how to decorate a room.
Yeah,
Oh.
thank you. And I really don't think people understand that you can, that you don't have to be a creator to do that.
Yep, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys.
You're very welcome. Anytime you want to come on, just let us know if you've got something super secret that you want to not reveal as being super secret anymore.
Sounds good.
Just let us know.
Or if you want to be part of our gift box challenge.
Yes.
Okay. I will be in touch.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Oh, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill.
Oh, yeah. If you want to not miss the next session, definitely subscribe.
Yeah. So, until then, bye.
Bye.